Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Spotlight. I am Teresa Strong-Myrick with Action Coach Tampa Bay, and we are here with Dan Holland. Thank you, Dan, so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning, Teresa. It's nice to be here.
So, Dan, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Tell us about yourself and what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Oh, my name is Dan Holland. I'm the founder and president and principal risk advisor of a cybersecurity consultancy that I've named Arete Solutions. Arete is an ancient Greek concept for the pursuit of excellence. And what we do is help leaders in critical infrastructure make great decisions regarding their cybersecurity risks.
Ooh. How long have you been doing this?
A lot to it. I've been helping folks make excellent decisions my entire professional career, which started in the Coast Guard. And before every evolution, we were doing risk assessments. We called it the GAR model: green, amber, red. And after every exercise, we were rehashing how those evolutions went and looking at things through a risk-based lens. So that gave me a really good foundation when I entered the corporate field. Started at a Fortune 500 company, like many veterans do.
Right.
And then a great mentor of mine, 5 years ago, suggested I go and hang a shingle of my own and really focus on what I cared about the most, which was that cybersecurity, cyber risk space. And I've just been off to the races ever since. I surrounded myself with the best people in the business. I've learned an awful lot, and it's been a great ride.
Nice. So the last 2 years have been kind of tumultuous for us. So did you notice things that you had to pivot or do differently?
Well, the remote meetings, right? It's really placed an emphasis on, I think, communication, because communication is hard enough between humans. And when you take that face-to-face element out of it, and I'm talking about both internal with the Arete Solutions team, as well as with our clients and partners, when everybody's on the camera and you're not in the same room, you lose something in your ability to communicate. So it's really just placed an emphasis on communication, and I think having cameras on is key, because it at least gives us some of those nonverbal cues. But of course, that's been the biggest shift for us is the remote work. But I love it too. I'm home. I get to spend more time with my family, so I don't see any going back.
Oh, so you kept it?
Oh yeah, we're keeping it. I'm going to be on an airplane unless I have to be. And those commutes I could do without. And as a business owner, I've got lower overhead. It's a win all the way around. My people prefer it. I'm able to recruit top talent that also believe what I believe. But there's things that are required to be successful in remote work. And we've got to be honest with ourselves. A lot of people don't have those qualities, or they haven't developed those qualities like self-discipline to be able to be successful in a remote setting. So I think that depending on the job, depending on what the role is, those decisions have to be made individually. But for a consulting firm with professionals and experts, we can do this remotely successfully.
Nice. So how are you building community?
Well, I'm active in a lot of nonprofits. I'm on a few nonprofit boards across the region, mostly focused on K-12 education. But there's industry groups, there's still conferences, there's things that we go to get that face-to-face element.
Gotcha.
But
nice.
But my day-to-day, my favorite community on here is LinkedIn. I follow some tremendous people, and I've met some tremendous clients through LinkedIn. Hey, I saw you posted this. I thought this was really cool. Oh, well, thank you. And, you start a conversation with people over LinkedIn, with the people that are active there and active in the community. I've reached out to folks after seeing them on a webinar or at a conference and connected and developed relationships. Some people I've never met in person that I trust with very important things.
I love hearing that, because I think, and you mentioned it too, it's more difficult to build community when you're on screen all the time, but it's also very possible.
It is.
It's so very possible. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. You just have to really cultivate it and be cognizant of the fact that you got to do something a little extra, right?
Yes, those opportunities where we do have to get face to face, have to capitalize on it, have to make the most of it, and at the same time, there's too many perks, too many benefits to being remote. I can't see a future where we're not doing it, but I'm not sold on the metaverse. I'm not ready to put on VR goggles and meet an animated version of you here. That's I'm not ready either.
Yeah, I'm not ready. Wonderful. So what keeps you motivated? What gets you excited and keeps you motivated? Because some people just reach a place of burnout in ownership. So what keeps you motivated?
Freedom. Freedom is what keeps me motivated. The
Mhm.
individual freedom to, be the husband and dad and friend that I want to be and can be.
Yeah.
But also to work with who I want, where I
Mhm.
want and on what that I want
Right.
for the most part. Financial freedom, to explore the world and get to do what I want to do. I feel like I have more job security here than I did working for a Fortune 500 company or even the government.
Mm.
And that's very motivating to me. So yeah,
Awesome.
freedom.
Good deal. And this is for our folks who are watching. What obstacle have you been what has been your biggest obstacle and how have you overcome it in business?
Um, Question. You could fill volumes with what I've learned over this journey over the past 5 years. Um, I mean, the basics, cash flow, right?
Mhm.
Getting the business off the ground when you're bootstrapping it and you're not taking investors. You've
Mhm.
got to realize that if you don't have cash flow, you don't have a business. So you have
Mhm.
to identify the need, to other basics, identify need and fill it.
Right.
The market will give you that feedback. So I think that what I noticed transitioning from a Fortune 500 publicly traded space to
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is that we spend an awful lot of time looking at quarterly forecasts and the financial metrics in leadership in a publicly traded
Mhm.
company. You live and die by those analyst reviews and the
Right.
stock price, and you're spending an awful lot of time looking at the scoreboard, right?
Mhm.
And games aren't won by players looking at the scoreboard. It's won by players looking at the field.
Right.
And I think that that's been the key to getting this business off the ground with limited resources, has been to stay
Mhm.
laser focused on the value that we actually provide to our clients and listening to their feedback.
Mhm.
And if you're not getting the result that you want, you got to change something. So the agility
Yes.
that I have as a small business owner is invaluable because I've been able to pivot and respond to the market, which in cyberspace is key because it's
Mhm.
constantly changing.
Changing.
There's so many
Yes.
trends, so much ambiguity because it's such a
Mhm.
young space. Coming from the Coast Guard,
Yeah.
there's hundreds of years, thousands of years of ocean going, travel to lean on, and there's very well defined processes and rules and certifications. And in cyberspace, we're on our journey, but it's pretty new.
Yeah.
So there isn't that foundation of best practices, which adds a lot of noise, which is why it's hard for our clients to make decisions. Am I spending too much money on cybersecurity? Am I not spending enough? What do I actually have to
Mhm.
do to bring my risk down to an acceptable level? What is acceptable to us? A lot of folks haven't
Right.
answered these things. And that's why our sweet spot with our clients is really those folks that are transitioning to an enterprise way of doing business. And they want
Okay.
to put structure around how they make these risk-based decisions. And these are just families of processes that we can get the left hand and the right hand talking to each other to inform that
Mhm.
decision. And then you make it, and then you continue to make it because things are changing and you're continually taking in new information, more
Right.
processes that give us that ability to continually monitor our risks. And that's a field unto itself, which is why I've really laser focused our value proposition over the last 5 years. It's
Yeah.
that would be the I guess the second best learning
Okay.
since starting the business is
Yeah.
don't try to do too much for too many people, right? Have to
Yes.
identify what it is that you can be the best in the world at, and then do that.
And
And
and that leads to my next question is, who is your ideal person let me ask it differently. So do you concentrate on individuals, business owners, corporations? Who do you help?
from a client perspective,
Yes, from a client
yeah,
perspective. Yes.
leaders in critical infrastructure are those who are facing the greatest cyber risk. So there's 16 critical infrastructure sectors. These are the hospitals and healthcare centers, the financial services, banks, manufacturing, ports and waterways, governments at all levels.
Gotcha.
So it's again those folks that either through governance requirements, compliance requirements, or just risk-based, we have to do this requirements, they have to go and
Yeah.
do cybersecurity. It's not optional for them, but how do we do it? How do we prioritize our limited resources? That's that decision, that core risk management decision,
Yeah.
where we come in as consultants, as virtual CISOs, as governance, risk, and compliance analysts. We have a team that ranges from PhD level thought leaders that speak on stage about this stuff to entry-level analysts that are in their first jobs in cybersecurity, but are staffing those analyst roles, conducting the risk assessments, reviewing vendor
my goodness, you
questionnaires,
cover the
doing things like
gamut.
that.
Okay.
Well, in the gamut of value, but within a very focused space, within cybersecurity, governance, risk, and compliance. So that's a field unto itself and keeping us plenty busy.
My goodness, I bet. So is there anything coming up, anything that you want to share with our community that you have going on, maybe?
Business. I haven't met all of our clients yet. There's folks that are on this journey and they are struggling again with these fundamental decisions. So I'm happy to have a conversation with folks that reach out and are genuine about wanting to do something about their cyber risks. We do have an excellent team, of course, but this is a continual thing until we stop doing business over the internet. There's going to be cyber risk that everybody has to address because everybody is using applications and data and devices, and these are under attack. And as the geopolitical climate continues to heat up, we're going to continue to see increased activity in this space and bolder moves by our adversaries.
Yeah, I feel you. So I just had to write something down that you said. I haven't met all my clients yet. I just love that. I love that. I'll be using that. You may hear it again. So Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. For those who want to contact him, could you just say your contact information? I'll also put it in the description.
Surely. Dan Holland and Arete Solutions. That's ARETE. So you can contact me through our website, on LinkedIn, or through any means. Right? It's a pretty small space if you ask around. So looking forward to meeting more of your network, and it was a pleasure again to meet you, Teresa.
Wonderful. Thank you again, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Business Spotlight. We'll see you again soon.